Hey guys, it's Cayley. I'm back with another what sold from last week video. Last week's sales were not as good as the week before, but they are about where I expect us to be at every week. I say this all the time, but between 6,000 and 7,000 right now with what we are currently listing is where I kind of expect us to be at, and that is where we landed last week. I'm not like a fan of the highs and the lows with reselling. I'm more of like an average kind of girl. Like if I could just stay steady and consistent in an average all the time and never have a high week and a low week, like I'd totally be okay with it, but that's just not how reselling works. So this is the first week in a while that I kind of feel like is along my average line of sales, and I'm just kind of happy to see it, I guess. So we're going to dive into what those sales look like. I will pull some of those select items in case you want to look for the same items at your thrift store to flip online for a profit. Let's dive in.
All right, guys, so just a quick update. I changed this report around a little bit. We are going to be looking at sales between April 30th and May 6th, but I did want to tell you kind of what changed on this report. If you're somebody that comes to my channel every single week to watch these videos, you're going to notice a difference. So I noticed that I was getting a lot of questions about eBay and shipping cost related to these videos. And long story short, I have changed up the report so that I basically calculated gross sales less the shipping cost. Reason being is because Poshmark, they don't really factor in your shipping costs. Like I never have to take my gross sales and subtract shipping costs. It's already taken care of for me. But on eBay, that's a little bit different because gross sales, I dug into it, and gross sales does include what the buyer pays for shipping. Now I was including how much shipping fees were in my numbers. However, my understanding from the comments I'm getting from you guys is you just want to know separately how much just the items sold for, which makes sense for calculating like an average sale price. So basically I pulled all of that, and highlighted in green are basically the changes I made that you'll want to note, which this is gross sales after shipping costs. Meaning this is how much just strictly the items sold for, which gives us a better representation of an average sale price of just the items in both eBay and the totals. So over here, these gross item sales are just strictly what the items sold for. Later on, I do actually calculate when we're talking about gross profit. All of that is factored in for shipping, labels, fees, and anything. But strictly, I wanted to show you what the numbers ended up being for just the items, just to have, I guess, a better representation of what they're selling for regardless of shipping costs. So hopefully that all makes sense, but you guys are going to notice a change on my report here, and we will dive into these sales. So in total, I sold 215 items. My gross item sales, which again are just strictly what the items sold for. I did, again, also additionally get shipping costs, but I factor that in elsewhere. Just the gross item sales were $5,798.10. Average sale price for just the items was $26.97. My estimated cost of goods based on an average buy cost, I actually upped my average cost of goods here recently because it did go up, is $1,075, and then estimated gross profit, which is a term that I took from, not a term I took from her, but one that she uses frequently and I thought would be good to incorporate into my videos, which is estimated gross profit, ended up being $3,592, which is essentially the profit, the gross profit after all fees associated with the sale. This does not include any amount that I pay employees or pay to have the office or anything additional. It's strictly just to do with the sale, which are fees, shipping, labels, and things like that. On eBay, I sold 110 items. On Poshmark, I sold 105. total item sales on eBay were $3,397.70. And then item gross sales on Poshmark were $2,400.40. So I hope all that makes sense. I hope it clears some things up. And I do think that this is going to be a better, more accurate representation of what someone's numbers could look like if they followed this model. We're going to dive into the individual sales. I've got some pretty equal actually this week for both eBay and Poshmark, so we'll dive into those. And just a reminder, if you're interested in start time for the eBay items, if you want to know how long they took to sell, they are up here. So this first one is a pair of denim jeans. You guys know I usually stay out of the shorts for the most part. In my opinion, there's not a lot of things you can pick up in shorts that are going to be super profitable. However, I've been really surprised lately as I have been studying solds to learn about some denim brands or styles rather that can perform well. Joe's Jeans is a brand dependent on style and size that I would start looking for in denim shorts. Joe's Jeans are typically not something I look for. However, it does seem like there are some styles that do well. I actually purchased these for myself to wear. I paid up for these. I paid $12.99 thinking they were going to be for me. They were new with tags. They ended up not fitting me the way I wanted them to. So I ended up selling them. Very surprised with the comps. And I listed them for around $40. They sold for my full asking price. And they sold within just a couple of weeks of getting listed too, which is pretty cool. Again, new with tags definitely help to sell them quicker, but I would have been willing to pay $5 for these to sell them for $25 as well, knowing that it is a popular style. So I wanted to share that sale with you. Next up, I've talked about this before, but we like to sell larger size Talbots dresses. They perform really well for us, and I just wanted to throw a few examples out there. This is a Talbots floral knee-length dress, size 20W. I paid $4.99. I listed it for about $35, and it did sell for my full asking price. This is another plus size dress. Ralph Lauren, all of these brands within Ralph Lauren besides Chaps. For some reason, Chaps just does not perform well for me in general. But any other line in Ralph Lauren that is a larger size, plus size, especially tops, pants, dresses, all perform pretty well for me in Ralph Lauren. So this is a Ralph Lauren 1X multicolored dress. This was more of like a cover-up dress, but still a dress. I paid $4.99. We listed for around $35, and it sold for full asking price. This is a Madewell linen midi dress. I am very picky with Madewell these days, but one thing I do know, a category within Madewell that does pretty well is anything that is midi or maxi length, and that would include skirts as well. This one is a dress. It's a size 4, which is a relatively smaller size, but the midi length really pulled it through. I paid $6.99 for this, listed for $35, and it sold for full asking price. This is a pretty surprising sale. I wanted to share it with you. This would fall under the athleisure category, which is a really popular style aesthetic right now. It's just athleisure. People want to look somewhat put together, but also feel cozy and, athleisure. So I'm always looking for stuff athleisure wise. Banana Republic's not something I pick up, especially in the women's department and hardly anything. But I saw this woman's hooded sweatshirt dress and I was like, this falls perfectly in the athleisure category. So I did a quick comp for hoodie dresses and seemed to have a really decent sell-through rate. Very soft, cozy, just had that, really good cozy feeling to it. I paid $4.89, listed for about $30, and it sold for my full asking price. So I'll be on the lookout for stuff like this in the future. This is a newer brand to me. It is, I think it's Amma, A-M-M-A. This brand I've sold a couple pieces of recently. This drew my attention because of the bright multicolor, abstract pattern maxi dress. Really pretty dress. This brand, this is what they're known for, kind of abstract, artsy, multicolor. and has a pretty good following as well. I paid $4.99 for this. It sold on an offer to watcher for $27.10. And I don't know if this sold to a viewer or if it was just someone that has purchased from me before. If you're watching and you're the viewer, thank you so much. But someone did leave me positive feedback on that, which is why I bring that up. But they were really happy with this dress. Very appreciative of that sale. Next up is another dress. I like to bring up this brand every now and then because it's kind of controversial. You can come across it all the time, but hardly anything sells in this brand. But there are some like select pieces that you can usually get 25 to 30 bucks for. And this would be one of those cases. This is an Old Navy women's extra, extra large maxi dress. Old Navy maxi dresses in general can perform well, but the larger sizes is where it is at. You can get some super quick flips. Again, nothing crazy. It's going to be more bread and butter, but definitely worth getting if you come across it. I can come across these fairly often. So I use the word prairie with this just because of the tiered kind of like oversized look. And we paid $2.50 for this. We listed for about $23. It sold for our full asking price. I think this one actually did take a few months to sell, and I had just dropped the price on it when it sold for that amount. But definitely keep your eye out for that. I sell a lot of Old Navy maxi or midi plus size dresses. Here is another example of a Ralph Lauren plus size piece. The first one was a dress. This one is a top. It is a size 2X kind of geometric print blouse. Pretty plain, honestly, but I do know that plus size sells well in this brand. I paid $4.89 for this, listed it for around $27, and it sold for full asking price. This was a fantastic sale. This is a Huckberry item. There's a website called Huckberry that sells a collection of brands that perform really well if you want to check it out. This one was newer to me. This was my first time finding this. It is iron and resin. This is a size extra large men's. It was called a journeyman shirt, but it was essentially a shirt jacket. And I did find this new with tags, which is really cool. Here is more branding if you want to look for it, but super high quality feeling, and anything from Huckberry site that I've ever found has performed really well. And I believe they sell strictly menswear stuff. So if you're somebody that's like, I want to dip my toes in menswear, but I have no idea what to start selling, I would definitely go onto the Huckberry site and start getting an idea of not only the brands that they sell, but the styles. And if you learn, I guess, the aesthetic of those, it can go a really long way in your sourcing. So keep your eye out for that. Again, I paid $4.89. We listed this for around $95. It ended up selling for $80.69. Super happy with that sale. Really great profits. But yeah, be on the lookout for that. Next up is a super gorgeous pair of pants. This is by Anthropologie. It is Mauve. Anything Anthropologie plus size I pick up, it always flips really fast for me. Sometimes not always for very much, but I can usually get 25 bucks for it. One of my sourcers found these. It is a pair of, they were called the Shiloh wide leg pants. Again, size 2X. Really gorgeous pair of pants. And she actually found these new with tags, and you can see that they retail for $50. That can't be right. I think it's $150. I think it's just a slightly faded $150. We ended up listing ours for about $80. I paid $4.99 for them. They ended up selling on an offer to watcher for $67.90, which was a pretty amazing sale. They sold really quickly. Like, I would pick up stuff like this all day long. Definitely keep your eye out for our Anthropologie plus size pieces. This is another bolo. This is a polo Ralph Lauren sweater with a flag graphic on it. Anything flag sweater, or sometimes even just a t-shirt, can perform really well, but the sweaters are definitely a bolo in both men's and women's. This is a women's flag sweater, size extra large. It did have a little bit of wear throughout, but you know, super big bolo, so definitely going to get that. Depending on which one you have, they can go for more or less. My strategy is always to price high and then accept offers. So we picked this up for $5, listed it for about $80, and it did sell for our full asking price. Awesome profits on that as well. This one was a pretty cool sale. This is a Torrid dress. I have pretty good luck with Torrid plus size dresses. They're usually way more bread and butter for me, but this was all over sequin, and I've kind of talked about this before, but all over sequin pieces tend to be not rare, but they don't make a lot of them because they're usually like super glam for parties. Not everyone is buying an all over sequin item. But when somebody does need that for an event, I've needed one before for an event, you're basically willing to pay whatever you can because it's a very specific item and you need it right now. So there is value in all over sequin items. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every all over sequin item is worth something, but it can definitely add value. And this is a plus size gorgeous all over sequin fringe mini dress, and I also found it new with tags, so that was, you know, hitting every single sellable factor for me, so I definitely picked this up. We only paid $4.99 for it, and it retailed for about $130. I listed it for around $75. It ended up selling pretty quickly on an offer to watcher for $63.65, and the buyer was really happy with this one as well. Next up is a Ralph Lauren men's blazer. I talk about this quite a bit. Some people like to stay out of the blazers. I definitely used to be that person that I just hated trying to sell blazers because I didn't understand it. I didn't like looking through them. I didn't know what I was looking for. Once it clicked, I realized there are really profitable items in the blazer section. And since I'm one of the few resellers willing to look through them, I can usually find some pretty good pieces just about every time I go sourcing. Ralph Lauren men's blazers are usually profitable in pretty much anything you can pick up. But I will say right now in our current season, spring and summer, linen blazers are performing extremely well, so I would definitely keep your eye out for those. So this is a 100% linen men's blazer, also an interesting color. It was like a very springy pink color. I don't know if that helped us sell it or didn't. Sometimes neutrals do better, and then sometimes colorful ones do better. You just never know. But definitely going to get that one. We picked this up from our wholesaler for $5.42. Listed it for $49.88. It sold for our full asking price and only took a few weeks to sell. You're going to see a lot of Lilly Pulitzer. I'm not sure if you guys are on my Instagram. If you're not, you can head on over and follow me on Instagram. It's under the same handle, Cayley Elaine. And on there, I share more day-to-day tidbits of stuff if you guys want to follow me. But I did share recently over there that we picked up a ton of Lilly Pulitzer items, like just one day at a couple different locations. There was I believe it was a mass donation from a Lilly Pulitzer store, and we tried to snatch up all of them that day, and we got a ton of really great pieces. Got those listed before anything else just because we are in the best season to sell these, spring and summer, and almost all of those pieces have sold already. So I included some of those in today's video just to show you how quickly they can sell if you know what you're doing with Lilly Pulitzer. So Lilly Pulitzer, this is a size medium. I always look up the style number for Lilly Pulitzer. It's super easy to look up. It's always here on one of the tags, and it even says style. Super easy to look up and really easy to do comps once you have the style name. So this was called the Tatum cardigan. I paid up for some of these pieces, and this was definitely one I paid up for. I paid $8.99 for it. We listed it for $59.88. It sold within just a couple of days for a full asking price. It might have even been the same day, which most of these did sell same day or next day. So $8.99 into $59.88, absolutely all day long. And I also wanted to show you this piece because not all Lilly Pulitzer items are bright multicolor prints. Sometimes they're a solid color, and I thought it was worth noting. Here's another brand worth getting in just about anything. It is Frank and Eileen. And this brand has had like a resurgence lately, so you're able to get quite a bit more for it. And the nice thing about this is the style name is usually on the tag, which it's just super easy to list. I pick up everything in this brand, super minimalist, super like plain capsule wardrobe. So if you didn't know to look for it, you do know now, but it might be something you'd have passed on. We paid $4.89 for it, listed it for $59.94. It sold for our full asking price. This is a Free People item. This is a We the Free women's, the style name is called Patty Pants. And it's just a wide leg pair of pants. And what I found with Free People is anything like super wide leg, not just Free People, like anything right now. Wide leg, flare, that's the style that's really in right now. So these oversized, super wide leg pants, we definitely knew were going to be a good flip. We paid $2.99 for it, listed it for $39.92, and it sold for our full asking price. This was a recent pickup as well. We paid $2.99 for this. That is an LaFleur, which I would familiarize yourself with this brand. It is a designer, and most of their stuff performs pretty well in my opinion. This was a women's size large top, and because of the size, had a really great sell-through rate. It's just a geometric kind of office-y, between casual and business top. Again, paid $2.99, listed for $49.94. It sold relatively quickly for our full asking price. I've had a few cashmere pieces selling recently, even though we are in warmer weather. Some of the cashmere stuff is still performing well, and I'm also still picking up cashmere. This is a Claudia Nicole. Why are you not loading for me? I don't know what's wrong with the picture, but the tag is not loading. I'm going to move on, but Claudia Nicole seems to be a pretty decent cashmere brand. I found this cashmere poncho sweater, and yeah, performed really well. Anything cashmere poncho or like oversized wrapped in just about any brand is doing well for me. But this brand in particular, I have sold a couple of these recently. I think I have even shown them in previous what sold videos, so keep your eye out for that. I paid $4.89, listed for around $40. They ended up selling on an offer for $34.36. This has also been something I've been experimenting with lately, Calvin Klein women's office dresses. Now, don't go out and pick up every single Calvin Klein dress you find, but the more thicker, like you can just tell, are higher quality ones seem to perform really good. This is a very structured, like plus sleeve dress, navy blue. It was only a size 4, but I thought the style and quality pulled it through. And I usually list these for between $35 and $40, and they usually flip pretty quickly. Again, I don't know how else to explain it other than I look for the thicker feeling ones. The scuba, like neoprene ones do really well. This one was not that, but those ones do really well also. I paid $4.99 for this. We listed for $34.88, and it did sell for our full asking price. Now we're going to move on to some Poshmark sales. This is a Torrid women's tie-dye tunic top. I try to stick to the larger sizes in Torrid. It is a plus size brand. However, the larger size you get in this brand tends to perform better. This was a size 4X, which is a pretty large size, and it was just really pretty and on trend. So I knew that was going to be a definite yes. We paid $3.49. We listed for, let me see. We actually listed this for $25 on eBay, but we always add $5 to $10 for Poshmark. And this ended up selling for our full asking price on Poshmark of $30. So that was a really nice flip. Told you guys you're going to see a lot of Lilly Pulitzer. We found quite a few bathing suits by Lilly Pulitzer, which if you find Lilly Pulitzer bathing suits, definitely a win, definitely a pickup. Can sell for really great money and really quickly. So if you're someone who steers away from swimsuits, this is one you're going to want to look for, and it's pretty obvious as well. I don't tend to pick up swimsuit separates. I feel like that's going to be a question I get. Not usually do I pick up just a bikini top or just a bikini bottom. Honestly, bikinis in general, I kind of steer away from unless it's a really great brand and I have both pieces in the same size. But one pieces I definitely look for. There's several brands in swimsuits that you can look for in one pieces that sell for really good money. This one was called a Lilly Pulitzer Flamenco one-piece swimsuit. It was a size 12, so also a fantastic size. Definitely paid up for these pieces. I paid $9.99 for this. I think we listed it for around $60 on Posh, and we sent out, I have Posh or VA set up to automatically send offers to watchers. So I think that stirred up the conversation with the buyer, and then we went back and forth and landed on $51. Next up is a bolo. It is a J. Crew linen shirt, but it is a Baird McNutt Irish linen for J. Crew shirt. So if you see this collaboration, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Baird McNutt linen J. Crew pieces, definitely worth getting. They have a really good sell-through rate. I paid $4.99 and it sold for $29 on Posh. Here's a Patagonia piece. I've heard a lot of talk about Patagonia recently and the reseller word about how it's really gone downhill and how most people only pick up outerwear. I'm still having luck with midi and maxi length skirts, which in most brands I don't like picking up skirts, but I have sold quite a few Patagonia midi skirts recently. So that might be a category you still want to look for in Patagonia. I paid $4.99. It sold for $29 on Posh. Here's another kind of like wintry item that sold this past week on Posh. It is an Everlane piece, and this is a super chunky crop sweater. It was a merino and alpaca blend. It was also a really pretty coral color. Everlane is something that's kind of hit or miss for me, but I have noticed they're like thicker, cozier pieces tend to perform really well. So we took a chance on this. We picked this up from my wholesaler for $5.35 and it sold for $51 in the dead of spring. All right, these next two sold in a bundle. They are both Lilly Pulitzer size 12 one-piece swimsuits. I paid $9.99 for one, and then I paid $10.99 for the other. So all in, rounded up, roughly $21 for the two of them. However, the bundle sold, actually, let me check, because they probably would have gotten a discount. One sec. Pulling it up on my app here. We had one listed for $75, the other listed for $60, and I'm not sure if when I pulled these individual sales, if it factored that in. Okay, no, it did not factor it in. So one was listed for $60, the other for $75, both multicolor print, different styles though, and a buyer bundled these together and offered me $100 for them, so $50 each, which I accepted because that is a super quick flip. I'm getting within a range that I'm comfortable discounting the items for, and it happened in like a day. So definitely going to take that, although I probably could have held out and sold them for a little bit more. A fast flip is more important to me. So both of these essentially sold for $50 each. And yeah, really, really great flips on both accounts. And like I said, a lot of these Lilly Pulitzer pieces sold within a day. Here's another Lilly Pulitzer piece. This is a knee-length Sophie dress, and this we found new with tags. It also had UPF protection, which I have noticed, especially moving into summer, that anything UPF, even dresses, seem to perform really, really well. There's a brand called Coolabar that I've shown a couple times. I found a lot of Coolabar tops. They honestly look like dressy tops. They look like Lilly Pulitzer tops, but they have UPF in them, and those have a high sell-through rate as well. So just giving you guys a little tip on the UPF stuff. Definitely worth putting in your title as well. So this Sophie dress I picked up for $12.99. We listed it for $75 on Posh. Someone offered us $55, which I accepted again for the purpose of getting a quick flip. Next is something I don't normally pick up. It is Pole or POL. This is a crushed velvet tank top, really pretty. We were very specific when we did the comp and saw that this particular style was actually doing well. I've actually sold Pole a couple times. I come across it honestly fairly often, but I only pick it up if it's super unique and I can do a comp with factors to justify it. This was one of those pieces, so maybe you want to keep your eye out for Pole. I picked this up for $4.99. We listed it for $30 on Posh. It sold on an offer for $25. Next up is another winter piece. This is a Reformation jeans cashmere sweater, which I've never come across before. We picked this up for $4.89, and I think we listed it for like $85 on Posh. It was also size large, so that is definitely going to increase value. It ended up selling pretty quickly on an offer for $70, which really amazing flip. 5 into 70, you can't beat that. So definitely keep your eye out for cashmere. There are still some brands worth getting even in warmer weather. All right, this next one is an Outdoor Voices men's shorts, which if you guys didn't know, Outdoor Voices in general seems to be a pretty decent brand. The women's stuff you got to be a little bit pickier on, but the men's stuff definitely performs extremely well. So these are a pair of men's size large lined shorts. I paid $5.26 from a wholesaler, and they sold for $35. Here's another Patagonia item. This one really surprised me. So the only reason I found this is because it was on a new rack. This is a Patagonia Kids boys quilted jacket. This was in immaculate pre-owned condition. Snap quilted like barn coat looking jacket. I only paid $4.99 for this because it was a kids item. We listed it for $60 on Posh, took an offer of $50, and that sold pretty much immediately. But I wanted to show you this because Patagonia kids stuff performs really, really, really well. And if you don't go to the kids section, or you don't know to look for this, or maybe you didn't know they made kids pieces, you might be passing on some pretty profitable items. So keep your eye out for that. I didn't know that Patagonia made kids pieces, and now I do. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for that. So that sold for $50 again, pretty much immediately, and other brands as well, like North Face. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Definitely North Face and Patagonia. Their kids pieces sometimes sell for more than the adult stuff. I think it's because it's more rare. So keep your eye out for that. This is another dress. Selling a lot of dresses lately, guys, but wanted to share with you guys what we tend to be picking up during this time of the year, because in my opinion, sourcing gets a lot harder in spring and summer, but we do heavily rely on the dresses category. This is a Torrid size 2X, so plus size midi length dress. And this is a really pretty smocked kind of tropical looking dress. We paid $6.99. It sold for $29 on Poshmark. I think we originally listed it for, I believe, $35. This was another piece I got from my wholesaler. By the way, when I say wholesaler, because I know I get a lot of questions about this is someone who lives in another state and reached out to me and offered to source for me. And basically I don't know exactly what she pays, but I think she has a really great sourcing area and pays like maybe a couple to $3 on average per piece and sells them to me for, maybe twice that amount. So she makes money, sends them to me. I make money because I don't have to source for a lot, but it has been absolutely fantastic having her. But when I say wholesaler or supplier, it's quite literally somebody who does the same thing that I do. They go out to thrift stores and then they sell these items to me for me to list. So pretty cool concept, working out great for her, working out great for me. But I know I get a lot of questions about that, so I wanted to clarify that once again in a video. So from my wholesaler, I paid $5.38 in total for this piece. I had never heard of this brand before. I love having her because she teaches me brands that I don't know about. This is one of those brands, La Causa, I think is how you pronounce it, Lacausa. And this brand seems to retail for quite a bit. I don't think it has a 100% sell-through rate, but definitely worth, I guess, enough value there that I'm willing to pick it up now and wait for the right buyer. This is a tie-dye midi dress, so a lot of factors involved as well. We listed this on Poshmark for $50. It ended up selling pretty quickly for $43, so great return on investment there. All right, next one I feel like some of you guys are going to kill me on. This is Veronica Beard, which is a very high-end designer. But this is Veronica Beard jeans, and this is a puff sleeve kind of dressier top. Now, this top probably retailed for quite a bit of money, and usually Veronica Beard stuff does resell for quite a bit. I listed this for, I think it was $50 on Posh. I got an offer for $35 and I took it. The going rate for basically the exact item on eBay was $40, which is what I listed it for on eBay. So, you know, when I move stuff over to Posh and I add pricing to it to account for offers, whenever I receive an offer on Poshmark, I always think to myself, okay, what did I actually list this for on eBay? Would I be okay taking it? So in my mind, I listed this for $40 on eBay. I'm probably going to send out 10% offers to watchers on eBay, which would have ended up selling for $36. So when someone sends me a $35 offer, you know, it's pretty close to what I would take on eBay. And that's kind of how I reason through things. So even though I listed it for $50 on Poshmark, really I'm okay with getting between $35 and $40 for that. And that's kind of my, I guess, thinking train. But I do know that some of these pieces can go for a lot more, but I'm telling you guys, specific comps on this item were only around $40 on eBay, and I'm going to go with the market to make sure that mine sells quickly. So I paid $4.99 for this. Again, it sold for $35 on Poshmark. I know that was a long-winded explanation, but I wanted to give you guys some reasoning as to why some things sell for as low as they do. Next up is another Talbot's dress. This is a silk midi length dress. This one was not a larger size. It is only a size 4, but other factors pulled it through, which is why we picked up. I paid $4.99. It sold for $29 on Posh. And then the last item is a pair of frame jeans. Now, when I do comps on even the specific style, the size, or frame jeans in general on eBay, the sell-through rate is not there for me. It does not fit my model. However, every time I pick up these jeans, I list them for around $40 to $50, and they always sell for me very quickly, and most of the time on Poshmark. So there seems to be a better following on Poshmark for these. But I don't price them any higher typically than $40 to $50. That seems to be the sweet spot. So there are some brands or pieces that I'll go against the comps on. This would be one of those pieces. I do like selling frame jeans, and so I go against the comps on those, and I assume that they're probably going to sell on Poshmark. I also got this from my wholesaler. I paid $5.42 all in. They ended up selling for $45 on Poshmark. Super happy with that flip.
Alright guys, so that's it for What Sold Last Week. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching. As always, if you're not and you would like to be, don't forget to subscribe down below and click that notification bell. If you do that, you'll be notified every single time I post a video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.